It's 3:12.
So there were a couple things in the Salem episode that I didn't get a chance to talk about. I ran across them when I was watching a tour of the witch house on YouTube. And they were panning over the displays in the house and, stopping to give you a chance to read over the little descriptions of everything.
Yeah.
And one of the displays was a witch bottle. Are you familiar with those?
Like a spell jar type thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of like that, yeah. So we could probably do an entire segment on the full history of these witch bottles, but basically a witch bottle is a small glass or stoneware bottle that contain, among other things, hair, nail clippings, and urine.
So recycling.
Yes, they're recycling their urine. Of the occupant of the house or someone believed to be a victim of witchcraft.
Yeah.
Along with all of those nice ingredients, they have pins and nails in there.
Wait. So these are to protect those who believe they're victims of witchcraft?
Yeah, or just...
So they're doing witchcraft to protect themselves from witchcraft?
Yes, exactly. You got it. Yeah, isn't that ironic? Yes. Yeah, so they take the bottles and they either bury them on the far edge of the property or, more commonly, I believe, is under the hearth of the fireplace or even in the walls of the home. But the belief is that these clippings and bodily fluids will attract evil spirits, and then the pins and nails will trap them in the jar.
Huh.
Yeah, so I thought that was bizarre, especially the urine.
Yeah, that just sounds like marking your territory.
Yeah, pretty much. From what I read, only about a dozen bottles were ever found in the United States.
Could you imagine, buying a home and you're, renovating it and you just find a bottle of, someone's urine in here?
Then they test it to see if there was actually urine. If the bottle isn't broken, they test it to see if there was actually urine in it.
Ugh.
So I'm not really sure what, other than witches, how it really related to the witch trials.
Yeah.
Because again, they haven't found that many in the States. It's more commonly found in the UK area.
Yeah.
Other items that have been found, speaking of finding things in renovation, other things that have been found hidden in homes, in walls, floorboards, under the hearth of the fireplace, which seems to be common, are dolls, clothing, and bones.
Bones of what?
Yeah, that's what I wonder too. I didn't do any digging to see if they're human bones, but the reason they hide these things are they believe that, again, I guess practicing witchcraft, the spirit of the person who had these items, their spirit will protect the people in the house from evil.
Yeah.
The funny thing is one of the most common things is finding shoes, or I should say shoe, because they normally would only find one. And the belief was that if the spirit only had one shoe, they wouldn't walk off.
Oh my God. Wait, so is this just a common thing in general or as protection from witches? Because again, this all sounds like witchy stuff that they're doing.
Oh yeah, it is all witchcraft in some sense, right?
Yeah.
But it's also superstition. So I mean, I can laugh about it. It seems funny, but I imagine 100 years from now, people are going to be laughing about the things that we, the superstitions that we have, right?
Yeah.
I won't get into different superstitions, but
if it makes them feel safer.
Yeah. So I mean, just odd, but yes, it does sound like witchcraft to me.
Yeah.
One other thing that was actually related to the trials was witch cakes. It was reported on February 25th of 1692. A member of the congregation instructed Tituba and her husband to bake a witch cake in an effort to identify the witch afflicting Paris's daughter and niece.
Yeah.
The girl's urine was mixed with flour and fed to a dog.
Oh.
So maybe that's where the possessed dogs came in to play.
Yeah.
Or the witch dogs that you were talking about.
Yeah.
The idea was that the essence of the witch was in the girl's water, and the witch would feel pain from the dogs chewing on the cake. Yeah, and where do they come up with this, right?
That just sounds more like animal cruelty to me.
Yeah. Yeah, feeding your dogs
Urine cake.
Urine cake, yeah. But anyway, I just thought those were interesting. I didn't get a chance to mention them. But, so on to the show. What are you talking about tonight?
I'm going to be talking about unsolved disappearances to give a little bit of a break of the gruesome murders I usually talk about. So the disappearances are going to be of the Bennington Triangle in Vermont.
I have never heard about that.
Not the Bermuda Triangle.
Okay. It's the same concept though, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Okay. The Bennington Triangle is a loosely defined area that encompasses the ghost town of Glastonbury, once a small logging company in southwestern Vermont. Abandoned at the end of the 19th century after the logging boom died down, the greater Glastonbury area is now mostly an untouched, pristine wilderness and is considered remote even by Vermont standards. A 5-year span of disappearances began in 1945 within the Bennington Triangle. A 74-year-old local hunting guide, Mitty Rivers, was the first to disappear. Rivers led a party of 4 hunters around the area of Hell Hollow in the southwest woods of Glastonbury before he was suddenly lost. After the initial search was unsuccessful...
Wait, I'm sorry. So he was lost during the trip with the 4 people?
I think it was after he led the hunters to where they were going to hunt. I think it was like when he was heading back or something.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry.
That's the way I took it.
All right.
After the initial search was unsuccessful, many believed that him being a knowledgeable woodsman would help him survive long enough to surface back in town, but that was not the case. Over 300 concerned locals and U.S. Army soldiers that were dispatched from Massachusetts, Fort Devens, had combed through the wilderness for 8 days. There was not even the slightest bit of evidence as to where Rivers was or where he could have gone. The following year, there was arguably the most infamous missing persons case in the history of Vermont. This was the disappearance of 18-year-old Paula Weldon. She was a student at Bennington College that decided to hike a leg of the long trail during Thanksgiving break while most of her peers had returned home for the holiday. She was last seen on Sunday, December 1st, 1946, wearing red, which is easy to spot, and entering the long trail near Glastonbury Mountain. She never showed up to her Monday classes, causing a massive search party of more than 1,000 people and a reward of $5,000. Despite the turnout, numerous aircraft utilized, and a variety of assisting law enforcement departments, there were no clues discovered. There was a lot of criticism, especially from Weldon's father, that the authorities lacked sophisticated methods in handling the case, which actually served as the encouragement for the founding of the Vermont State Police 7 months later. The case is still open.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Exactly 3 years to the day after the vanishing of Paula Weldon, the Bennington Triangle saw one of the more supernatural disappearances. A 68-year-old man named James E. Tedford boarded a bus to Bennington after visiting relatives in St. Albans, Vermont. Many eyewitnesses, including the driver, later confirmed that Tedford had been in his seat as late as the last stop before Bennington. When the bus finally pulled into Bennington, Tedford was nowhere to be found. After he vanished into thin air while inside a moving vehicle, passengers noted that Tedford's luggage and an open bus timetable remained on his seat. If witnesses are correct, Tedford would have disappeared from his seat as the bus was traveling down Route 7 through the Bennington Triangle.
This is why I don't go to the bathroom when I'm on a bus. I don't want to fall through and...
Fall through what?
Well, where does that stuff go?
I don't... It's not like just a hole there.
Well, that's one reason why I don't go in the bathroom on a bus. Sorry, go ahead.
Just don't go to the bathroom in public. In mid-October 1950, nearly a year later, 8-year-old Paul Jepson was missing. He was last seen happily playing in the family pickup truck by his mother, who left to tend to pigs at the dump where she and her husband were caretakers. Then he vanished without a trace. In addition to the hundreds assembled for a search party, a New Hampshire sheriff brought a bloodhound to sniff out the missing boy. The dog had his scent until the trail was abruptly lost at a nearby crossroad, suggesting a possible abduction by a motorist. As there was no resolution in the case, some suggested that Jepson had died at the hands of his parents and was dinner for the pigs. Yep.
Oh.
To keep with the eerie feeling of the Bennington Triangle, the boy's father told the Albany Times-Union that it was the lure of the mountains that pulled his missing son, as he had talked of nothing else for days prior to the disappearance.
That's odd.
Yeah. I just think it makes it more suspicious that...
Yeah, he's coming up with this weird story.
Yeah.
So I wasn't too sure about the parents and the pig, but now I'm starting to wonder.
Yeah, like the mountains calling to him and this 8-year-old is saying that.
Yeah.
I don't know. About 2 weeks later, 53-year-old Frida Langer, an experienced hiker and survivalist familiar with the area, went missing on the Somerset area of the Long Trail bordering East Glastonbury. After hiking a brief half-mile with her cousin Herbert Eisner, Langer fell into a stream and went back to their camp to change her clothes, where her husband was resting with a hurt knee. Neither her husband nor her cousin ever saw her again. Helicopters from the Connecticut Coast Guard and U.S. Army in Massachusetts, as well as local aircraft from citizens and the Vermont Aeronautics Commission, helped search for Langer. Around 400 people, including the Massachusetts National Guard, meticulously searched the surrounding areas. Soon they found something, which made it the only known disappearance of the Bennington Triangle where a body has turned up. 6 months after she went missing, Langer's body was found near the Somerset Reservoir. It was an open area that had been searched extensively numerous times in the previous months. The body had decayed so much that no cause of death could be determined, only causing more speculation about what could have happened.
So she wouldn't be included in the triangle though, right? Because she was found?
I think it's just the mystery of, like, she was experienced.
Yeah, where did she go for all that time and then showed up, yeah.
And it being an area that they searched over and over and then just appearing.
Yeah. What's weird about this is you're talking about this, I'm thinking about why are these considered just disappearances and not like some type of serial killer, but there's so many differences in, who disappeared and the circumstances in which they disappeared.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be a pattern.
Yeah, I do get a little bit into that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So, the intriguing mysteries and unexplained events associated with the Bennington Triangle have caused many to speculate the possibility of paranormal forces at work, probably because of the alleged UFO and Bigfoot sightings in the area.
Okay, so you said you were going to get into a serial killer angle, or is it the UFO paranormal?
No, I was just going to get into the...
Okay.
I just didn't know if you had a reaction to...
Well, yeah, so I would...
Bigfoot is the serial killer. Plot twist.
Yeah, okay, now I'm upset because I never thought of Bigfoot that way. I didn't think he was capable.
No, I'm just kidding. As far as I know, Bigfoot.
Yeah, he's a good one.
Yeah.
UFOs, yeah, that area, matter of fact, my story related to, in the same basic area, so.
Yeah. I don't know, it's just... But with UFOs, like you said, none of them are like really common to the point, like, I don't think they would leave a body behind.
Yeah, you don't hear that a lot where, well, I guess if somebody disappeared and they never come back, you don't know. They could be alien abductions, right?
Yeah.
But those are never usually the story. It's somebody was, as in, what I'll get into is abducted and examined and then released.
Yeah.
But it does pose an interesting question because we wouldn't know, if they were disappearing by these UFOs, we wouldn't know. So we wouldn't be talking about it, right?
That's true.
And it's like, where did they go?
Yeah, that's true. Others believe that the burst of missing persons between 1945 and 1950 was the work of a serial killer, but there was lack of evidence and the variety of victims' ages and gender ruled out the theory. Another thought was that their deaths were at the claws of an indigenous mountain cat, such as a lynx, bobcat, or catamount. Bobcat and lynx are not known to be an aggressive animal towards humans, and the catamount had been declared extinct since it hadn't been sighted since before 1940.
So they're saying that they could have been attacks, but they never found the bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, wow. And not only that, they're suggesting that it might have been an extinct cat.
Well, they're saying that they're like a lot of people assumed or theorized that they were these animals, but because the cat that had been declared extinct, that wasn't possible. Unless that cat can eat this entire person.
Right, yeah.
I don't know. I first of all, I didn't know that. I thought bobcats were aggressive, but apparently they're not.
Yeah, I would thought any cat would be aggressive. I wouldn't want to tempt that.
Yeah, no, I would.
So going back, the Bigfoot thing is bothering me. I mean, what the hell would Bigfoot want to be doing killing people, first of all? And then what would he be doing with the bodies?
I don't know. In his little lair? I don't know.
That's a bizarre... I'm more apt to believe that the UFOs came along and abducted these people than to think poor Bigfoot is getting blamed for this.
I feel like that's why it's so rare to see Bigfoot, because Bigfoot is just like portrayed as this evil, scary, big guy, big hairy.
Well, that's how some people portray him. But when you see the footage of the Bigfoot, he's just running in the background behind the film,
Yeah, just enjoying his life.
Yeah.
I always think of...
He's just like... I'm sorry, he's just like kind of getting out of the frame. Oops, oh man, they're taking a picture. I'm photobombing them.
Yeah. That's what it looks like. I always think of the one commercial where Bigfoot is just like doing normal tasks, and I don't know what the name he goes by in the commercial. He's like, no one ever calls him by his name.
Progressive.
Yeah.
she calls him Bigfoot.
Yeah. He's just like all sad because like no one knows him as his real name.
This is not a commercial for Progressive Insurance.
No. But I always think about that, like him just doing daily tasks, cracking open a beer, just at a campground.
Wait, Bigfoot drinks?
I mean, he has
Next, you're going to tell me he smokes weed. Oh, wait. I'm showing my age again. Calling it weed.
What else are you supposed to call it?
Pot.
Pot.
Smokes doobies.
I've heard tree before. What the heck is a tree? Who's smoking trees?
Apparently Bigfoot.
Yeah. He's got plenty of them around him. Oh my gosh.
Anyway, we're just going all over the place here. So where are we at?
Well, I was going to say he has every right to drink for people fearing him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can imagine that's pretty depressing.
Yeah.
Nobody loves me.
Just so alone.
Yeah, poor guy. We're talking like he's one Bigfoot.
There's more?
Well, yeah, unless he just travels because he's sighted all over the world. Maybe he just moves around. But
he like travels all over the world, and he's like, damn it, I'm photobombing another photo. Why does this always happen?
If he was the only one, that would be another reason to drink, right?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I wonder if there's like a female Bigfoot.
Maybe. You would hope. Otherwise, yeah, I would see where the drinking would come in. I'm all alone.
No.
Nobody loves me.
Oh my god.
Anyway. Totally off topic. Poor Bigfoot. Let's move on.
Oh my gosh. I hope Bigfoot listens to this.
No, I don't want him to show up at our house.
Why not? He's such a good guy.
He might get mad.
No, we're saying that he's a good guy.
We're calling him an alcoholic weed smoker.
Then I'll just be like, I'll join you. We'll be mad at the world together.
Come on in, Bigfoot. Watch your head. Let's smoke some pot.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh. I feel like we sound like we smoke pot already.
I guess now we have to have some on hand in case he does show up. So I'll go down and pick up a case of beer and a dime of pot.
BYOP. Bring your own pot.
BYOP. I always thought that stood for bring your own potty.
Pot.
All right, let's get back on topic.
Oh my gosh, I'm sweating. The only known similarities between the most well-documented cases are the close proximity of the disappearances. The time of day when most were last seen, which was between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m., in the time of year when most were last seen, which was the last 3 months of the year. With the little evidence, paranormal theories have taken hold. There have been more recent odd occurrences in the Bennington Triangle area, including terrifying voices allegedly showing up on dead air radio, sightings of mysterious figures, Bigfoot, unexplained navigation mishaps, and planes that mysteriously crashed. To this day, Bennington Triangle attracts those who have fondness of the eerie.
That's weird. I guess a serial killer, just somebody who's just randomly picking whoever to kill. I mean, normally you hear about, or at least myself, I hear about they have a type, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have this pattern of the type of people they're looking to kill.
My question is, if it were a serial killer, I know psychologically most of them are very proud of their work and don't like others taking credit, even though they will not come forward. How pissed would they be that Bigfoot is getting credit for these?
Yeah.
Or a UFO. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like serial killer is like the most logical answer if you want like a response. But it just doesn't make sense because there's not like a set.
Yeah, I'll have to wrap my head around the whole alien abduction thing because I never really thought about that before. But when I'm thinking about it, it's like, okay, yeah, like I said before, if they were abducting people and they just disappeared, you just, their disappearances, nobody's putting the two and two together.
Yeah.
Compared to you hear all the, stories about people who were abducted and they're, and then they came back and.
Yeah.
Except in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, where all of the people who had disappeared came back on the spaceship.
Oh, like all at once?
Well, so the movie was, implied that, like, in the Bermuda Triangle, there was a squadron that disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Then in the movie, those planes were found out in the middle of the desert or whatever. And then at the end of the movie, a bunch of people who had disappeared over the years were brought back on the ship.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Huh, that's interesting. I'm very skeptical that I'm the type of person that would be like, yeah, let's go to the Bennington Triangle. Let's go to the Bermuda Triangle. I want to see what happens.
I would be full for it. I'm not concerned about that. As long as I'm not by myself.
Yeah.
Because that seems to be the pattern, right?
Yeah. But then, I don't know if you remember, what show was it? I think it was like the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody on deck when they were like on the cruise ship.
Yeah.
They went through the triangle, but like every time they went, I think it was that show. Every time they went through, like the day repeated. So they had to like try to move the ship around it. I would hate that. Like if I was aware that the day was repeating over and over and over, I would hate that.
We can't not mention Mom's trip through the Bermuda Triangle because...
Yeah. I feel like it was one of those things that were like, oh yeah, we went through the Bermuda Triangle, but they didn't.
No, they did. Well, she claims that the ship flew through the Bermuda Triangle.
Flew?
Yeah.
Like it
she was dreaming. She had a dream when she was on the ship and they were going through the Bermuda Triangle. They're on a cruise. And she had a dream that the ship was flying through the Bermuda Triangle. But like, I hope I got that right, because if I got the story wrong, she'll kill me when she hears this episode. I just have to cut it out.
When I think flew, I mean, like, I think it flying, like a plane flying over magically, like...
Yeah, well, that's what dreams are about, right?
I guess.
We're apparently off topic again. I swear to God, we are not smoking. We are not drunk.
You were saying that so stiffly, like reading it off of a...
I swear to God that we have not been drinking or smoking pot.
Yes.
Where were we?
Well, okay. We were talking about mysteries, and you said you had a UFO mystery, not mystery, but story.
Oh, wait, are you done with your...
Yes, I am done.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if there was any other theories.
No.
I guess the serial killer angle is the most likely, right?
Yeah, that I would say that, yeah.
But considering the area,
yeah,
I mean, the alien abduction thing is interesting.
No, I think the serial killer makes the most sense. Maybe it's just like because it's so disorganized that they don't have a signature. Maybe they were just starting off.
Yeah, or they're just, taking advantage of the environment.
That's true.
Right?
They just don't care.
Not very, sparsely populated area. And just as they run across people that are by themselves.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of sparsely populated areas, I am going to be talking about the Barney and Betty Hill abduction, which took place in the White Mountains of New Hampshire, so not too far from the Bennington Triangle.
That's interesting.
Maybe the triangle's larger than we thought. And pretty close to the general timeline, too. So this all started approximately 10:30 p.m. on September 19th, 1961, as Barney and Betty were driving on U.S. Route 3, heading home to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, after they were vacationing in Niagara Falls and Montreal. Betty claimed that she began to see a bright light moving by the moon.
By the moon? Like up in the sky?
Well, she up in the sky under the moon. And then she started to see it hovering over to the west side of the moon. At first, she had thought it was a falling star, but then she realized the movement it was doing, it must be something else.
Yeah.
As it became larger, Betty and Barney pulled over so they could get a closer look at it.
I feel like I wouldn't pull over for that.
Yeah. So they pulled over near a deserted picnic area just south of Twin Mountain, which is a small community in the White Mountains of New Hampshire, as I was saying. They took their dog for a walk. They had their dog with them. They took the dog for a walk. Delcy, if you're curious what the dog's name was.
What was it?
Delcy.
Delcy?
Yeah. Apparently they had some binoculars on them, pulled them out. Barney first thought it was an airplane, but again, the light was getting larger and it was moving towards the ground. He began to have his doubts about whether it was a plane or not. Interesting side note, Betty's sister had seen a UFO in 1957, and this had led Betty to believe at this point that they were seeing a UFO.
That's interesting that two of them.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of odd, right?
Yeah.
And so I looked this up, and I read an article about a 1966 Gallup poll where only 5% of people surveyed said they had seen a UFO. So what are the odds that two sisters would have an experience totally separately 4 years apart with a UFO?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that does leave a little suspicion to it.
Yeah.
So they get back in their car and they continue through the mountain pass. They stated that they drove slowly as they continued to watch the object.
Yeah.
So they're driving along watching this object. At one point, the object descended down to their vehicle and Barney stopped. They claim that the spacecraft hovered over about 100 feet above the car and covered their entire view as they looked out through the windshield.
Oh, wow.
So kind of big.
Yeah.
Barney, for whatever idiotic reason, got out of the car.
Oh, no.
And he described it as looking like a massive pancake. So just, it's a saucer shaped, round, but flat.
Yeah.
Relative to its size.
Yeah.
Just looking like a giant pancake. And he also said that there was windows around the edge, and he saw about 8 to 11 humanoid beings watching him. So we all know that UFOs, they have windows, right? When they go out into space. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, they need to look at the pretty view.
Yeah, I guess. Who am I to say what a UFO looks like?
I would have pressed the gas so quickly.
I know. I was like, what? Wait, you're stopping and then you're getting out of the car?
Yeah, I would have booked it.
As he was standing out there, what he described as the lead figure, I never could figure out how they knew, maybe it's the one that talked to him or whatever, how they knew who the lead figure was. But he communicated to him that he should stay still. So now at this point, they're there and they're telling him, don't move. But Barney panicked. He ran back to the car and they sped off.
Now they speed off.
Now they speed off. While Barney's driving, Betty's keeping an eye on the craft that's keeping pace with their car.
Yeah.
Then they started to hear a rhythmic series of beeping and buzzing that they said originated from the trunk of the car, and the car started to vibrate. A tingling sensation passed through their bodies, and at that point, they claimed to have experienced an altered state of consciousness, and their senses began to dull.
Oh, I would have called that anxiety.
Yeah. They said that they traveled about 35 miles, but were unsure how they had gotten there. Of course, that's where me driving all the time. I get somewhere and like, how did I get here?
Yeah, I'm always like, wait, I forgot I was driving.
They arrived home around dawn, their drive taking about 3 hours longer than they expected. They apparently had some lost time there.
Yeah.
Some things they noted upon arriving home. The strap of the binoculars was broken. They didn't know how that happened. The toes of what Barney described as his best shoes were scraped. Betty's dress was torn in several places, and there was a pink powder on it. But that blew away when it was torn, and there was this pink powder, and I guess she tried to salvage it because, she talks about hanging it on the clothesline, and that's when the powder, blew away.
Yeah.
But I never really understood why she was hanging it up if the dress was torn. At this point, they don't even think about the fact that they might have been abducted. So it's not like, oh, I have this evidence, I should preserve it. They just don't know what's going on.
I'm surprised they didn't think about it. They literally had something hovering over them.
Well, I think the belief is that they had forgotten a lot of that.
Oh, okay.
By the time they got home. So, a side note on the clothes, that they were tested a number of times over the years, but nothing was ever found. Their watches did not work and never functioned again. I didn't read anything about whether they had them looked at to determine why they weren't working.
Yeah.
They said they felt dirty and took long showers to get clean. And they also found small concentric circles on the trunk of their car.
What about the dog?
Unfortunately, I didn't read any more about the dog other than he was on the trip with them. I don't know, maybe they forgot they had a dog and he was abducted by the aliens.
No, not me worrying more about animals.
I'm sure he was fine.
Yeah, I hope so.
On September 21st, Betty contacted the Air National Guard base in New Hampshire to report the incident. Major Paul W. Henderson interviewed them, and in a report dated September 26th, he concluded that they had most likely misidentified Jupiter. But the report was said to have been forwarded to Project Blue Book. Are you familiar with Project Blue Book?
No.
It was really big when I was younger because they had a show. They have a show now, I believe, on it. But anyway, Project Blue Book was a study started in 1952 by the U.S. Air Force. Its goal was to determine if UFOs were a threat to national security and to scientifically analyze UFO-related data. It ran until 69 or 70. They had investigated over 12,000 cases and classified 90% of them as identifiable causes. The remaining 10%, about 700 cases, were classified as unidentifiable. They couldn't determine what had happened. Betty then contacted NICAP, which is the National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomenon, who she learned about after looking for books on UFOs at the library. And on October 21st, Barney and Betty were interviewed for 6 hours by one of their members, a Walter N. Webb. It was during this time that during the interviews with Webb, that Barney expressed to him that he felt he was having some type of mental block and speculated that they may not be remembering everything that happened about the incident.
Yeah.
So this was, they felt something happened. They kind of remembered bits and pieces, but they just didn't have it all there. And it was at this time he was like, oh, maybe we're missing something here.
Yeah.
So Betty and Barney expressed a desire to undergo hypnosis, but they did not immediately pursue that option.
Yeah.
They just didn't know somebody who could do that.
Well, that's understandable. I feel like that's not as reliable either.
Well, I don't think it was that. I think they just didn't know who to contact at that point.
Oh, well, that
about
makes sense.
It, right? Yeah. 10 days after the abduction, Betty started to have dreams that she said lasted for 5 nights. In the dream, she recalled their car being surrounded by alien beings, 4 to 5 feet tall, gray-skinned, and wearing blue uniforms. So they have uniforms.
Yeah,
I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, but I don't know why I always... I never pictured them having outfits.
Well, I guess they don't go naked.
Well, I just figured it was not naked to them. It was just normal.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they're always made out to be naked, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's what you see. You never really see them with uniforms on. Or not that often, but she described large eyes, large dark eyes, bluish lips, prominent noses.
Wait, they have noses? Sorry.
What?
They have noses?
Yeah, what do you think they?
But human noses?
Well, no, they're alien noses.
What are alien?
These are, people, how they describe them, right?
I don't know why I never thought of noses.
Well, wait until you hear this. They had dark hair, too.
They have hair.
That was my reaction. I didn't know aliens had hair.
They have like
But
mullets
that's better
or
than
something.
not knowing they had noses.
Well, I thought they were just like little holes, like nostrils, like reptiles.
Well, apparently these ones had noses. There's different types of aliens that are described. So these were the gray aliens. She described how she struggled to maintain consciousness and how her and Barney were led into the forest. This is still in their dreams.
Yeah.
The two of them were led up a ramp into the craft where they were separated. Can't recall her explanation about how the aliens communicated, but they told her that they were going to examine them to determine the differences between their two species. They took hair clippings, trimmings of fingernails, and scraped off skin cells. She said they inserted a needle into her navel to test her nervous system, which caused her a lot of pain, but it went away when one of the aliens waved his hand.
So he was like taking the pain away from her magically.
Yeah. Well, but it's odd about the tests, because you think about you think advanced technology, they're flying all over the universe, whatever.
Yeah.
And you think they would have these scanners and stuff to examine us, even without even knowing we've been abducted.
Or they could just
or even without abducting us.
Ask scientists nicely.
What's that?
Or they could just ask scientists nicely.
Yeah, can you give us your research?
I just think it's interesting that they're like testing us. And when I feel like if we had aliens, like saw aliens, we would test them.
But I don't think we would be as nice.
That's true. It is nice that they take the pain away and put them back where they found them.
At least in this instance. So in 1963, so this is a couple years, I'm not sure exactly the months or whatever, but Barney was referred to Benjamin Simon, who was a hypnotist in Boston. Betty and Barney's hypnosis sessions began on January 4th, 1964. It was interesting that, they had this abduction story, and you immediately think about, publicity, and, they're telling this story. But this was a really slow process of them going through from the abduction to all of this coming out.
Yeah.
Simon indicated that he conducted their sessions separately and induced amnesia to make them forget what they discussed during the hypnosis. So he's no better than the aliens.
So I was thinking, is he part of them? Is he one of them?
he's like making them forget what they went through. But I can see that, he doesn't want them to get their stories mixed up. So or, start to get their stories straight or whatever. So Barney recalled during the sessions that the strap on the binoculars broke when he was running back to the car. And as he was driving away, he felt compelled to pull over. So there's why he pulled over. He said he was then approached by 6 of the aliens who told him to remain calm and close his eyes, which he did, and apparently his recall of events were less detailed than Betty's because he kept his eyes closed most of the time. So he's like, I'm keeping my eyes closed.
I mean, I'm trying to think of if I would keep mine closed or not, because this sounds like a terrifying experience.
Interesting that they told him to keep his eyes closed, but Betty didn't mention that about her experience.
Yeah.
He indicated that he felt they were communicating through thought transference.
Makes sense.
That's another interesting thing about, how advanced they are, thought transference and all this, and yet they're doing these rudimentary exams.
Maybe they feel it's the safest.
Yeah. Or maybe they just can't afford to put the equipment on the spaceships, so they have to do field exams.
If it's a giant spaceship.
Well, I mean, just, budget and everything.
I wonder how much fuel they...
What kind of fuel? Are we going to talk about the mechanics of the aerodynamics of spaceships?
No, continue your story.
Apparently, Barney's exam was a little more invasive than Betty's because he did get an anal probe.
Oh.
Yes. So I won't discuss his exam any further, but that was about the extent of it. But Betty's session was said to be pretty consistent with her dreams, other than some of the details being a bit different, and the timeline was a bit off. But I guess that makes sense because, you're comparing dreams to reality.
Yeah.
During the session, Betty drew a star map that she said had described from her...
What?
I don't know what I wrote here. During her session, Betty drew a star map that she said she had... Why? I'm having such a hard time with it. She had said she was shown Sally sells seashells on the seashore. During her session, Betty drew a star map that she said she had described from her dreams and said she was shown... Sorry. Sally said she sells on the seashores. She said she was shown while on the ship. Oh, tongue twisters. What the hell?
I'm crying.
The analysis of the map gets into a whole other rabbit hole. Sorry, I'm still on the...
Slap happy now.
Yeah. Anyway, I won't get into the map because that's a whole nother thing about whether it was valid or not. You know, people were analyzing it, trying to determine where the stars were.
And
there's a big discussion with scientists about, you know, some believed that it could be valid. Others were, no, it's too random. Simon found that both Betty and Barney's stories were pretty consistent with one another. But his conclusion was that Barney's recollections were fantasies built off of his wife's dreams. He did believe that they believed, but he did not believe that they were abducted. That was his personal opinion, but he did believe that they believed their story. He believed that the sessions were successful in relieving the abduction anxiety that the Hills were experiencing. Whether they were abducted or not, they were having this anxiety, and he felt that that helped them. You know, real or not, right?
Yeah.
After the sessions, the Hills went back to their normal lives, and it was said that they did not seek any further attention. So again, you know, if you want to doubt the story, you have to look at the timeline of everything and the fact that they weren't, or at least they were really good at hiding the fact that they weren't looking for publicity.
Yeah.
Right? But in October of 1965, the Boston Traveler ran a front page story about the abduction. The reporter had managed to get notes of confidential interviews the couple had given UFO investigators and found out about the hypnosis sessions. This was the point at which the story really took off. They claimed to have found the spot where they had been abducted. Apparently they had been going back up there and looking for, you know, trying to, you know, see where they were abducted.
Yeah.
They claimed to have found it somewhere around 1965, but they never really could find any evidence of anything having occurred there.
I mean, it's been a few years, hasn't it, since their abduction?
Yeah. So yeah, 65. So it was four years since it had happened. So after the reporter and then Betty, that's at the point where Betty and Barney felt that they should get ahead of it rather than just trying to, you know, stay low key.
Yeah.
So they got involved with John G. Fuller, who wrote the book The Interrupted Journey. So that was the book that told the story and really launched it off. Barney died in 1969 of cerebral hemorrhage, and Betty passed away in 2004 from cancer.
That's sad.
I believe the Hill abduction was the first in the United States, but it wasn't, you know, like the first abduction story. There was actually one in 1957, but this was down in Brazil, a 23-year-old farmer. I was going to talk about that a little, but I decided, I just wanted to mention that the Hills weren't the first story, but kind of the first story in the U.S.
It's interesting.
Yeah, that was it.
Wait, so they were like the very first abduction story?
As far as I know, yeah, I'm not aware of any other stories, at least that came forward, right?
Yeah.
Not that they were not the first people abducted, but...
That's just interesting because it seems a lot later than I would have expected.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, considering when... Well, if you're gauging it by the, you know, like the UFO craze, which was, what, early 50s, something like that? Or probably even late 40s, because the Roswell crash was in July of 47, and I believe the first widely reported UFO sighting was a month before that in Washington State. So I think 47 is considered the start of the modern UFO age.
It's interesting.
Yeah, that was it. I thought it was interesting story. Like I said, the fact that her sister had seen a UFO. It's always these stories always have these angles that make you wonder, one way or the other. You know? So that was a little suspicious, but again, with the timeline, and they weren't really pushing it. I mean, it took from the time that they said the abduction happened, it was over 4 years before they made a book deal on it.
Yeah, that I feel like is something that they would push right away, like, because that's a big story, like being abducted and stuff.
Yeah, it's not like Amityville Horror where they left the house and went to her mom's house or whatever, and they were on the phone with with somebody to write the book within a couple of days, it seemed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's it. Just kind of a short story, but it was interesting, like we had just said. So I think that's all we have. Getting late. Once again, thank you very much for joining us.
Make sure to visit next week for more weird and creepy stories. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 12past3 or email us at podcast@12past3.com.
Good night.
Good night.